I am dark right now, but I won't be in a moment. And just lights behind me. So I'm trying to get my camera set up here. Okay, so have, if you like, have a blanket on your mat, and then have either a bolster if you happen to have one, or a pillow and a second blanket. Have those handy. So a second blanket, I always like having a blanket on the mat, but we'll do some standing today as well. We'll do some standing today. And then we'll hang out for a minute or 3 or 4, and we'll see who pops in tonight. So once again, I see some people jumping on. I should probably just put in the comments what I'd like you to have tonight, which is a blanket on your mat if you'd like. So blanket on that, extra blanket, and pillow or bolster. If you have those, that would be useful for today. Especially either one blanket that you're going to use, or if you only have one blanket, then don't put one on your mat. You can use a second one. And sometimes I'll use the blanket because I find it to be, it just keeps me a little bit warmer, but I don't know where you guys are, but it's kind of warm, tonight, really beautiful evening. So you may not need the second blanket, or if it makes you warm, and then you can remove it. But otherwise, I just like having a little extra cushion. Okay, so we'll be here for, just a couple more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I hope your Monday is going well. I had a great weekend, and I'm just enjoying the beautiful weather and starting to, I just moved into this townhouse and Thanksgiving, and just really haven't had the time to settle in. So I've been taking, especially with the nice weather, it's just so motivating. There's some time to settle in, and got some plans today, and got some plans for my deck outside. And yesterday I cleaned out some boxes that I hadn't gotten to, and cleaned out my car, and it was just really nice, just being a little productive, getting some spring cleaning going. And then I was supposed to be going on Wednesday of next week. I was supposed to be going to Colorado, to see my daughter graduate from Boulder, which obviously isn't going to happen. So so she's there, and she's still sad about it, but it's okay, you know. I was talking to her this morning. I was on a walk because I get up. Usually, you know, I have my own self-care routine in the morning, and I get up, and if I ever have any dreams, or if I remember in my dreams, I write them down. I have a dream journal. So I do that first thing before they leave me. And then I'll get up and, you know, just go to the bathroom, do normal morning things. And then I'll come up and take care of my dog, usually take him out and feed him and give him his medicine because he's sick. And then after that, I make some lemon tea while I'm walking him, lemon and ginger tea, and then I sit do a sitting practice for, it just depends how I feel. It could be 15 minutes, it could be 40 minutes, it just depends on how I'm feeling. And then after that, it depends on how early I get up. If I have time, I go for a walk, just to get it out, just get it going, because if it gets too warm, I don't like walking when it's warm. It just makes me uncomfortable. I don't do well in the heat, so I like going when it's cooler in the morning. And then I'll come back and do a practice. And so my day, and then I'll have breakfast after that. I also forgot I squeeze in, after my meditation, I do a journaling session as well. And that's just my self-care for, while we're in this quarantine. It's important for me to stay connected with myself. I'm living here and I'm alone, which has been actually, at first it was kind of hard, but it's been really, really great because I've been able to just really kind of support and take care of myself and do a lot of self-care. So I'm not minding the isolation as much as when in the beginning. It was just weird. But getting back to my daughter, so she's graduating next week, and they're all just totally devastated that they're not going to be able to partake in their graduation ceremony. And I feel bad. It's a big rite of passage for her that she's going to miss. And it's funny, I have two other sons, and neither one of them cared as much. Our older son, I think, just did it because he knew that his father and I wouldn't want to go. And my middle son actually didn't end up walking because he took a semester off, and so he didn't graduate with his class. But so my daughter really was interested in walking, and I'm like, well, what are you, she's been sitting in isolation with some friends, her roommates, and some, there's some friends that are close. A lot of their friends have left, but there's a number of them still there. So there's a group of them that they isolate together. And I'm like, well, what are you guys going to do? And she goes, we don't have any plans. I'm like, well, you need to plan something. You need to, order, make sure you go from your favorite restaurants, order takeout, get some champagne, get some balloons, get some cake, eat some cake on your day you're supposed to graduate. And it got me thinking that, and then so within 5 minutes I was talking on the phone, within 5 minutes, she called me, she texted me, she didn't call me back, but she texted me and said, okay, so we have these plans, we're gonna make it a formal event, so they're all gonna dress up in their finest clothes, and no one's gonna be allowed to go, their extended isolated group, unless they're all in formal wear. And so because I can't believe we hadn't thought about doing something. And, I reminded her, I said, because you've been so stuck in your trauma and so stuck in your disappointment that you weren't able to create your own adventure. What could you do to shift your perspective on what's happening when the graduation ceremony is not going to happen? But that doesn't mean that you can't have your own celebration, and it may not look like, what you thought it was going to look like. And so that's my wish for you, is that you figure out, what is your cake? What cake are you missing out on during this isolation that, you could indulge in to allow yourself to heal a little bit and feel better? So I'll leave you with that. And with that said, we'll go ahead and get started tonight. And I would like to, normally we'll sit for a little bit, but because this is just an hour, I want to start out in a yin type posture. So that's where that blanket that I asked you to get is going to come in handy. So most of you, if you worked with me, then you have a blanket, or we use this blanket under our back. It doesn't have to be a Mexican blanket like you see here, but have it so it's about this size, however you need to fold it. Normally I give very specific instructions, but I don't know what kind of blanket you all have, so we'll have to just make do. And then once it's this size, just roll it from the longer edge, and we're going to place this under our back. So some of us, if you've never done this before, it can be quite intense. You'll roll it about halfway. And those of you that have done this a lot, or this is part of your practice, and if it's not, it would be a good idea to add this to your practice because it's super good for the back. You'll take your pillow or your bolster, or you can even use blankets underneath the legs. And we're not going to be here so long. I mean, if you don't have blankets, you could use blocks. If you don't have a bolster, rather, you could use blocks. Always your choice. And you can probably do without it if you don't have anything. And then come on this blanket. And I've been busy doing manual labor today, so this feels super nice on my back. The top of the blanket's kind of right at the bottom edge of my shoulder blades is where I like to have it. Arms will go in a cactus, so bent with the arms up here. Or you could lift the blanket and slide the arm underneath if you have impingement, meaning your arms kind of float, they don't land on the floor. Soles of the feet will come together, and you can see that I have my feet on the bolster. My feet are on the bolster. You could always have the feet in front of the bolster if that's too intense. The other thing you could use under the knees, in addition to blankets or pillows, would be blocks to support the legs a little bit. And that just takes the edge off a little bit because we haven't really done anything to the hips. But this, as long as it's supported in some way, and some people don't even really need the support. So this is all on you to determine what's appropriate. So a really nice posture to start out with, I believe, just because it gives you an opportunity to really check in and see how your body's behaving. And then you can begin to lengthen the inhale, just creating space around the heart and around the lungs. And then as you exhale, let that upper back soften. So I've been doing a lot of leaning over, putting in my hoses, and which I can't get them to stop leaking. I changed the gasket, so if you guys know how to stop the leaky spigot, the hose in, there's a little bit of leak in the one area, but the other one's leaking pretty good. If you have tips, I'm looking on YouTube, let me know. I'm open for suggestion. And then exhale, soften the back body as you exhale. Breathe into the heart, create space around the heart, and think about what would be your cake in regard to what is something that you could bring into your situation to make it a little easier, to make you feel like you're not missing out on something, or you're not missing your job. Is there something that you could do to promote a little joy? Now, if this becomes too much, you're going to remove it out from underneath your back if it becomes too much. And then you can always roll on your side. But we'll be here for another 20 breaths or so. Let's let the back just rest here for a little bit longer, just to create that counter posture that so many of us have. Using the breath to help create that space. I don't want to let you stay here too long because you could easily fall into that restorative mindset, and we do have some moving to do and some releasing to do. So just a few more breaths. Just a few more. And then as you're ready, let's bring the knees up towards the ceiling, and you can have the feet resting on your bolster if you'd like. Press your feet into the floor, lift the hips and back up, and pull that off to the side. And then lower the hips back down. Walk your feet out to the side edges of your bolster and just slowly begin to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. As the knees go one way, the gaze can go the other way. And then take your time. Just neutralizing the spine. And then as you're ready, bring your knees in close, hug the knees in towards the shoulders, and do a little rocking from side to side. And I do want to work a little bit on the joints. I was taking Mark's class this morning, and he's teaching a lot actually, so I've been taking quite a few of his classes when I have the time. And he says something that I can relate to, and I talk about it too, and that the best way to get freedom for the energy in the body is to work the joints. Place your hands on your kneecaps and begin to circle. There's a lot of stagnation that occurs in the joints, and if we can free the joints, get some circulation and energy flowing there, it'll help the energy flow throughout the entire body. And then change the direction so you're going the other way. And then come back to center, and you can hold the knees if you'd like, and begin to circle the feet. You might hear a little snap, crackle, pop. So circling the feet, and then just some nice big circles, and then change the direction so you're going the other way. We want to get the feet a little awake as well. It's been nice because my feet don't really like shoes anymore because I walk around barefoot. My job requires me to be barefoot. So I'm barefoot a lot, and then when I'm home, I tend to be as well. And now it's so nice. I find myself barefoot a lot more, or flip-flops. And point the toes and then flex. So pointing and flexing. And if you have your hands on your legs, you can actually feel the muscles engaging and the tendons engaging, which is always reassuring that everything's working the way it's supposed to. Good. And then release that effort. Raise one arm above your head, roll onto your side, and then rest on your side. So just pause here. I'm just going to check the monitor because I see some things up there. Yeah. And resting here on your side, just for allowing your body to integrate. And then as you're ready, you can make your way up to a seat, and we're going to transition onto hands and knees. So let's go ahead and have the wrists underneath the shoulders, have the knees underneath the hips, spread your fingers evenly, actively press your hands into your mat to eliminate any space underneath the hands, and then tuck the toes. Good. And then as you're ready, inhale, drop the belly, heart comes forward. On the exhale, you're going to round. And then inhaling, drop the belly, heart comes forward. As you exhale, please round. And then taking your time, moving with your breath. Take your time. And then let's do one more in a cow and hold here for a few breaths. And then transitioning to cat and holding here for a few breaths. And then come back to neutral, neither cat nor cow. Release the tops of the feet onto your mat and sit back on your heels. So we're going to come down into a child's pose. So forehead will rest on your mat. Just pausing here for a few breaths. And then as you're ready, crawl the fingers forward And resist on your blanket by pulling the fingertips into your blanket. Pull your sitting bones down towards your heels. Getting some length in the spine. So we work a lot in the spine for this practice because the spine is where the energy really begins to move when we're doing the tremoring. Release that effort. Walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. Press the right hand into the floor and pull your right sitting bone down towards your right heel. So we want to open the spine quite a bit. And then release that effort. We're going to walk through center and come all the way over to the other side, pressing the hand into the floor, the left hand that would be. Pull your left sitting bone down towards your left heel. Getting space in the right side of the body. Traditionally, the yoga practice is done in the morning, but I think there's an argument to do yoga practice at night. I love doing it in the morning, but by the time for me, sometimes my day ends, walk your hands back to center. And then we'll come into a standing forward fold. So tuck your toes and then walk your hands back towards your feet and transition into this standing forward fold. So see how I have my belly, I'm resting on my thighs. My knees are bent quite a bit here. Just let your head hang. And you could grasp opposite elbows if you like. And let the torso swing from side to side. Or you can have your hands on the floor. But just make sure that the neck is relaxing. Yeah, because I always feel so great at the end of the day. Take a yoga practice and then take an Epsom salt bath. Have a little dinner. That's about this 5 o'clock time for me. I think is really great because I have a little dinner. Maybe I'll watch a little Netflix tonight. Take an Epsom salt bath. And then come back to center. Bend your knees a lot. Place your hands on your hips with strong legs and a flat back. Let's come up to standing. And then let's meet in mountain. I'm just going to adjust my camera here because it might be better. My head's going to cut off. Move this back a little bit. Good. I'm going to tilt it up a little bit too. This is where I need a director or producer to help me with the camera angles, or a camera person to help me get my camera angles adjusted. I've seen teachers and I know how hard it is that we're adjusting it. Or we're just trying to video as we're, usually you're not recording as you're teaching. It's just a weird thing that we're trying to do here, this experiment. Anyway, feel your feet on the floor and just allow yourself to rest in mountain. You can even have the arms a little further away from the body just to give you a little more space. That just helps with energy flow. And then let's do just some heel taps. So this is a quick and easy way to get the energy flowing in the body. This also super beneficial to bone density. So tapping, if you've ever been to a bone density doctor, or if you know of anyone with bone density therapy, this is something that we do. They're actually little devices. They're like vibration plates, and they have the big vibration plates in some of the fitness centers. Those are pretty intense though, but this is almost like a purring like a kitten, and it looks like a bathroom scale, and you stand on it, and it vibrates like this hum, and they use it with astronauts when they come back from space, because when astronauts go to space, because there's no gravity, they have to get their bone density back, get their bearings about them. Do a few more. We could do this for a while. You can actually do this on your back too, like in a bridge pose, and tap your heels. And it just gets the vibration going through the body. So this is kind of great for many things. And then go ahead and release. Check out your legs, because that can be a lot on the calves. And then just pause, and you might feel the energy beginning to flow. So to me, in Qigong, from a Qigong standpoint, that's almost like a half sun salutation A, just something to get the energy flowing in the body. Let's do a little more. So hands, get it more into the joints. So bring your hands forward, and then turn the fingers up. So like you're pushing away, and the arms are active here. And then bring the hands down, turn the fingers together, and then Palms come down, heels of the hands together, fingers go up. So it's like you're making squares, or you can soften the edges and make this a circle as well. Here's your choice. And then change the direction. So we're just opening up the joints so the energy is going to flow a little bit easier. Because when we do the tremoring, they start in the legs, and sometimes it'll feel like they'll stay in the legs. But I've done this for so long now that I think for most people the energy is flowing to other parts of the body. It wouldn't if there was some type of significant trauma in the body. Like, for example, I had 3 C-sections. And when I first started tremoring, I had a scar that I had some repair work that needed to be done around those 3 C-sections, because you can imagine. And then come back and then release, and then shake out the hands. Place your hands on your elbows. Don't place your hands on your elbows. Place your hands on your shoulders. Let's try that. And we're going to get into the shoulders, so making big circles. And bring your heart forward and then round as you come back. So inhale, heart comes forward. Exhale, rounding. So getting back to my story, the tremors stopped right at my scar. And I remember talking to my teacher about it, David Rosselli, who is the creator of that modality. And he said, yeah, he goes, you have a major block there, both physically and energetically, because of that significant trauma. And we don't think of childbirth most of the time. It can be traumatic, but I never thought of it as traumatic. Even though I was having major abdominal surgery, I never thought of it that way. So that encouraged me to go in and get some scar therapy. And then eventually I had to have the scar redone and then change the direction because there were some other things going on. But it encouraged me, and that changed. And then the tremors eventually moved as I began to open up the physical body, because it was a physical block as well as an energetic block. So my feeling for most people is that even if you can't feel it, unless you have that type of major trauma, the energy is flowing up the spine out to other parts of the body and releasing. And then go ahead and shake that out. Okay, so let's work on the neck area, because it's a real common thing for us to hold from the neck up, especially when we're stressed. We hold a lot of stuff in our head. So I'm going to offer you a suggestion to lengthen the neck, and you're going to only do this if you don't have any bulging, anything in the cervical spine, or you don't have any fusing in the cervical spine. If your neck is healthy, then this will be fine. If you have anything that I suggested, bulging, fractures, fusing, then you're going to skip this. But if you have a pretty healthy neck, take your middle and index finger, bring them behind the head. That bottom ridge is an occipital ridge. Thumbs are going to go underneath the chin. And then you're going to lift your head up. And I like doing my neck work with a little bit of space in the cervical spine, because my cervical spine is a little bit compressed. And as you get older, the cervical spine does compress. You guys stay there. I'm going to show you. And then you see people with this type of thing, because the shoulders are coming up, and then there's no space for the neck to go, so it ends up coming forward, and the cervical spine is completely, it's compressed, and the shoulders are up, and we basically are losing our neck. So that's why this work and that blanket underneath the back, those types of things help reverse those patterns. So just one more, and then one more moment, and then go ahead. Keep that length as you release your hands, and let your head drop forward. And let the weight of the head gently stretch the traps on the back of the neck. So you might feel those muscles beginning to stretch here. And sweep your right ear towards your right shoulder. And then bring your chin back and sweep the left ear towards the left shoulder. Just getting a little bit of space in the sternocleidomastoids, SCMs, scalenes. And then we're going to do a little tapping around that area as well. And then we're going to warm up the legs a little bit. And then come back to center. And let the head hang here for another moment. Knees are slightly bent here, right? So we're always slightly bending our knees, no lock knees. And then gaze comes up. Take your right hand and then just begin to tap along the shoulder and the neck area. Just another way to release some tension. can just kind of massage it a little bit. And then we'll do the other side. So left hand, just tapping up. And then release. Good, so let's do a little bit of work with the legs, just to make sure the legs are warmed up for our tremoring. So if you do have a blanket on your mat, just fold it in half like this and put it off to the side. And when we come back down, you can just grab it and put it back on your mat. And then standing in our mountain, we're gonna have the feet about hips distance apart. Place your hands on your thighs, and then we'll all inhale together. On the exhale, send your hips back, slide the fingers down towards the knees. So it's like a flowing chair. Inhale, press your feet into the floor and come back up. As you exhale, coming forward. And then inhale, come back up. Belly is in if you're feeling anything in your back. So just flowing here. Good. Take your time. And then we'll come up one more time and we'll come down one more time. And this time when we come down, we're gonna hang out here. So hanging out here, hands can come in front of the heart, belly is in. Make sure the weight, as to the best of your ability, is evenly distributed on your feet. And I do that just because it brings an awareness down to the feet. It's not like you're not doing it right if your feet aren't, feeling the weight evenly distributed. Ideally we are, but it's also just to bring the awareness down in the body. Good. And then inhale, come all the way up like you're coming out of water. Let's interlace the hands above our head and turn the palms up if you can. So extending the hands up, soft knees, and then just shift the arms over to your right, opening up the left side of the body and getting into this meridian on the spleen. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, go on the other side, getting into the liver. A little attention to our liver. Works so hard for us. And then come back to center. And then lower the arms down by your side. Let's take the right foot forward, left leg back. We're going to come into a warrior one. Let me change my position so I can transition a little easier. So right foot forward, left leg back. Come into warrior one. So hips are forward. Imagine you have headlights on your hips. They're shining forward. And then as you inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, reach through your fingertips. And then pull your shoulders away from your ears. And settle into your breath here. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten your right knee, bend your elbows and squeeze your shoulder blades together. So inhale, bend and extend. Let me show you a front view. Exhale, you're going to straighten and squeeze. Inhale, bend and extend. And exhale, straighten and squeeze. Let's do a couple more. On the exhale, we pull the arms down and straighten. Let's call this one the last one. For 3, 2, and 1. Then turn your palms down. Actively press the hands down like you're pressing into something, just to reground the feet. All the way down like you're pressing your hands into something. And then release that effort, and then turn so that the feet are still wide apart. Toes are going to be in, heels are out, hands on your hips. As you inhale, lengthen your heart. Exhale, you're going to come forward into a wide leg forward fold. So hands can go on a block or on your mat. And then you're going to lower your head so that the neck is completely released. Kneecaps lift. Kneecaps lift. And send those sitting bones up and back. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Take some good, generous breaths here. And then as you're ready, walk your hands over towards your right foot.
And enjoying the stretch. Keep an eye on that right knee. It's going to want to bend to compensate. See if you can keep it engaged. And then come through center. We'll go to the other side. Take your time. And then come back to center. Would you turn your fingers so they're pointing behind you and walk your hands through your legs to the wall behind you or whatever's behind you. Give a little more length in the back of the legs. And then return the hands so they're underneath your shoulders. Bend your knees a lot. Place your hands on your hips and transition up to standing. And then let's do the other side. So turn to face the other way. Left foot forward, right leg's back. Coming into your warrior one on this side. Legs are strong. And then when you're ready, inhale the arms out and up. Exhale, reach through the fingertips. Recommit to the bend in your left knee. Soften the shoulders or the arms if that's inhibiting your ability to breathe at all. Go ahead and soften that. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten your left leg, bend the elbows and squeeze the blades together. On the inhale, bend your left knee, extend the arms up. Exhale, straighten and squeeze. On the inhale, we bend and extend. Exhale, straighten and squeeze. And let's come up one more time. Inhale, bend and extend. And then coming down. And we'll come up this last time. And then palms face down. Actively press the hands down as if you're pressing into something, regrounding the feet. And then turn to face the front again. Toes in, actually toes out, heels in. And then let's slide the hands down the thighs so they're resting on the edge of the thighs. And let's get into the shoulders. So release the right shoulder towards center. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, release the left shoulder. And then just alternate sides. One shoulder drops, one at a time. Take your time. Going from one side to another. And we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then keeping the knees bent, let's come straight up and we're going to make our way into our goddess. So hands come together in front of the heart. Come all the way down. You can keep the hands here for today. You don't have to bring the arms out to the side. But what I'd like you to do is pulse here. So we're going to pulse here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now come way down as far as you can. And we'll hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up, release your hands. Let's heel toe the feet together and then shake out your legs. And then just pause here in mountain. Maybe have one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Just checking in. So we got most of the joints, got some neck work, freeing up the spine. A nice little warm up to prepare us for the tremoring. And then we'll do a little body scan, a little nidra. I like the iris variation. We'll do that at the end. So go ahead and release your hands. And let's come back down onto our mat. Before you come down, go ahead and grab that blanket if you're using it and fold it in half so it's ready to go. Fold it in half and place it on your mat. And then make your way back down onto your back. Coming down to your back, the knees are bent, arms are by your side. And while I'm here, I'll show you that tapping. I mentioned that you can do this on your back. It's a little easier on the legs where you just sit here and you would just tap
So you could do this either standing or you can do this on your back, what we did earlier. Let's go ahead and do some while we're here. Tapping the heels. But it's much easier on the calves and on the legs because you don't have the whole weight of the body, but you still are sending a vibration, which is what we're trying to do. So stay there and just go ahead and release that. And then come into a butterfly, so soles of the feet together. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. And once again, one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Just notice what arises. It's nice to take good pauses in the practice. It's useful. And then as you're ready, you can take your hands on the outside of the knees, push the knees up, cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, and flex the right toes. Hug the left knee in if that's available to you, coming into a figure four. You could take your right elbow on the inside of the left thigh. And keep the toes flexed for our purposes today. You could extend the left leg up if you wanted to. It's always an option. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Let's release the left leg down and uncross the legs. And then just kind of shift the knees a little bit softly from side to side, not a full windshield wipering, just a little integration before we change sides. And then come back to center, left ankle on right thigh. The foot might stay down, or you might hug the right knee in and flexing the toes. Maybe that right leg extends. Mm-hmm. And then as you're ready, you can bend the right knee and lower both feet down. Let's keep the knees bent and the feet on the floor. So or on your mat. Have the feet on the mat though. So if you have a blanket on your mat, just make sure that the feet are in front of the blanket. It'll just give you a little more stability so the feet won't they'll be less likely to slip. Arms by your side. And then as you inhale, lift the hips up towards the ceiling and squeeze the glutes. And then exhale, we're going to lower back down. On your inhale, you're going to lift. Exhaling, we lower. Let's do a couple more. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower down. And the next one will be the last one. On the inhale, you'll lift. Exhale, you'll lower. And then just pause here. So we'll do another round of bridge, this traditional bridge. So let's all inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And then we'll lift the hips up. You could do exactly what we just did, or you can add the arms in if you'd like. So if you're adding in the arms, it will look like this. Inhale, hips lift, arms come above your head. Exhale, lower the hands back down. So either just lifting the hips or inhale, lifting and sending the arms up over your head. And then exhale, lower. Couple more. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower. And last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then let's bring the arms either out to the side or in a cactus. Walk your feet out a little wider and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Oh, inhale to center. Exhale, legs go one way, gaze goes the other way. And then the next time the legs go over to the right, let's keep the legs there. And then turn your gaze to the left.
Just getting a little, just making sure the spine is open, the muscles are loose. And then inhale, everything comes to center. Exhaling, legs are going to go to the left, gaze is going to go to the right. And then inhale, everything to center. Hug the knees in towards the shoulders. Do a little rocking from side to side. And then come into a happy baby. So grabbing the outside of the feet. You can always grab the backs of the thighs or grab the calves. It's always your choice. Or grabbing the feet. And the hips should be somewhat open, so you can make this a pretty engaged one, a dynamic happy baby versus a lazy happy baby. But we don't want an unhappy baby. So make sure that you're not going beyond your edge or in a manner that's not appropriate or uncomfortable for you. And then we'll go ahead and bring the feet together, interlace your hands behind the toes, and then pull the feet in any amount. Just getting into the inner thighs one more time, the hip flexors. And my gosh, I think we are ready. So go ahead and release your feet and then place the feet on the floor. Put the soles of the feet together, have the knees go wide. Arms are going to be by your side. Keep some space between the arms and the body. And your feet, for most of us, are going to be a little bit closer to the body than maybe you normally are in this posture, in this Supta Baddha Konasana. And then from here, lift the hips up. So hips lift. You might feel a little rocking from side to side. So we're moving into the tremors. If you're new to tremoring, this is the body's natural mechanism to release stress in the body. We got to get the stress out of the body. I mean, this is why right now I think this is one of the best modalities because it just cuts to the chase. It just releases energy dynamically. It just gets it out. And then keep the hips lifted. You guys keep the hips lifted. If you have water in the room, it's nice to not have it on the floor with you. So the energy that's being released doesn't go into your food and water. Just a suggestion. I find that it impacts me. So I move it up. So soles of the feet together. And now hips are lifted. You can always come down and take a break. We're going to be here for probably another minute, not too much longer, because we worked the legs a little bit today, more than we normally do even, I'd say. Good. And I'm going to actually lower my hips. You can stay there if you feel like the legs need a little more tension. My body just transitions really quickly. Plus, it's hard to talk with my hips lifted. So I need to come down so I can be focused on you guys and not what's going on in my body. This is an interesting modality to teach while you're in it. It's different than yoga, to be present and go through the experience. So you'll see me coming out of it to talk to you and so I can be clear about what I want to say. And then go ahead and lower the hips down. Keep the soles of the feet together. Let the knees go as wide as they can. Let's inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. And then from here, I'm going to close the legs a couple of inches, not very far. You'll feel the muscles on the inside of the legs engaging. If they're not engaging, that means that your legs are resting. We don't want the legs resting. We want the legs engaged. So make sure the legs are lifted in a manner that the legs are engaged, that the muscles are needed to hold the legs up. Sometimes I'll come around and their legs will be out here and they don't realize it because the legs will often open because it's easier to hold the legs open for most people than to hold the legs closed just a little bit. And then you may feel kind of a burning on the inside of the thighs. It's the muscles beginning to work, a little bit of a postural tremor, which is a body's tremor from fatigue. Some of you might feel the legs beginning to shake already. Some of you, maybe not so much. You just feel the strain on the legs. Let's close the legs a little more. You can see if you're looking, my legs are ready to go. So this is involuntary. I need to emphasize that it's involuntary because if you're new, sometimes people will see
me shaking or others shaking, and they'll be shaking intentionally. And this is not an intentional tremor. This is involuntary. This is your body's natural mechanism to release tension and energy in this way. Pose the knees a little more. So some of you at some point will be able to put the bottoms of the feet on the floor, which I already did because my body just feels more comfortable in this modality with the feet on the floor. But for some people, especially if you haven't done it very often, if you put the feet on the floor, then the tremors will stop, in which case you'll have to put the soles of the feet together. Now, if you wanted to take a break, you just straighten your legs like you're going in a final rest. And then if you want to resume, you just come back to where you left off. Maybe open the legs a little wider, or they'll find their way back. You don't have to do much, especially after you've done this for a while. Your body will become very familiar and very comfortable with this modality. Yeah, so you can take a break, you can be done. We're going to be shaking here for a little bit more, so a few more minutes. Let's inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And inhale. And exhale. So you might feel energy moving up the spine. It presents usually as tingling. If you can't feel it, if it's not super dynamic and you can feel it, or other parts of your body aren't shaking, then it's very subtle, the movement of energy, but it's very likely that it's happening. Very, very likely. Unless, as I mentioned earlier, you have some significant trauma in your body where there's a physical block as well as an energetic block. The sooner you release trauma in the body, the less likely it's going to root, and you can just let things clear out. It's like, if you get a clog in a drain and you don't address it right away, it's just going to get more stuff in there, and then it's going to take a little more effort to clean it out. So if we can get that initial clogging, that stagnation to move, the sooner we get it to move, the less likely it's going to root, right? It's because if you have a clog and you just ignore it, it's going to get thicker and thicker, and then you'll have to take a little more effort to get the clog opened. And let's inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So we'll be here, for another minute or so, about another minute, not too much longer. So another minute. And I'm going to make my way out of the tremors. You guys stay tremoring unless you want to come out yourself, just because I want to be able to transition and guide you guys through a nidra in a moment. So I'm going to come out. You guys stay. Just stay here. Unless you want to be out. Always your choice. And then inhaling through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And then as you're ready, go ahead and straighten your legs and make your way out of the tremors. Point and flex your toes, circle the feet and ankles. My dog sees me sitting, so he's going to come over and join me. And once you feel like the tremors have subsided, you're just going to allow yourself to transition into your final rest. So your final rest might look like where you are in your back, and you would use a blanket for support under your knees. You could always move into a sideline position, and that is quite supportive of the nervous system. But this is kind of like a bit of a nervous system reset, which is, we need it with what's going on in our lives, collectively and individually. And then once you've settled in, I'm just going to do a little body scan for you guys. So one thing I want to just advise you is if you are rest for a little bit. It's really important to rest after this practice. It's even more so than other yoga because your energy's moving. You could be a little foggy, a little disoriented. So the rest after this practice is it's more important than other practices that we do at Breathe. This one, we want to make sure we rest. We don't want to skip out early, even though it's tempting and we might be hungry and ready for dinner. Do allow yourself to rest a little bit here. And take a moment to let the body settle down, let the nervous system settle down, okay? And then bring your awareness to your feet. And so your right foot, left foot, and then both feet together. Bring your awareness to your right calf, left calf, and both calves together. Right knee, left knee, both knees at the same time. Right thigh, left thigh, both thighs together. Right hip, left hip, both hips at the same time. Bring your awareness to your low back, your mid back, and your upper back. Bring your awareness to your belly, your diaphragm, your heart, right collarbone, left collarbone, both collarbones at the same time, and right shoulder, left shoulder, both shoulders together. Right upper arm, left upper arm, both upper arms at the same time. Right elbow, left elbow, both elbows together. And right forearm, left forearm, both forearms at the same time. Right hand, left hand, both hands together. And then bring your awareness back to the shoulders, right shoulder, left shoulder, both shoulders together. And then bring your attention to the throat, front and back of the throat, sides of the throat, all of the different parts of the throat together. Bring your awareness to your jaw, upper jaw, lower jaw, both jaws at the same time. Right eye, left eye, both eyes together. Air going in right nostril, left nostril, both nostrils at the same time. Right ear, left ear, both ears together. Right side of the head, left side of the head, both sides of the head together, front of the head, back of the head, front and back together, and then the scalp. And then bring your awareness to the right side of the body, the left side of the body, both sides of the body at the same time. Front of the body, back of the body, front and back body at the same time. And then finally bringing your awareness to the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. And then I'll just let you sit here for just a couple more minutes. And notice the breath, notice sensations. You might feel energy still moving. Energy might be settling down a little bit. So just blowing out for a moment quietly. And begin to lengthen your breath. Invite movement back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Circle the wrists and ankles. If there's space around you, you can give yourself a nice big stretch. Stretching the arms above your head and the legs long. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knees. Hug your knees in towards your shoulders if you're on your back. If you're on your side, you can just stay where you are. But if you're on your back, give yourself a hug. And then when you're ready, take your time, raise one arm above your head, roll onto your side. Just do one final check-in, checking in with the breath, checking in with the heart, checking in with the nervous system. See how deep you can access something, some information that your body's giving you right now at the most subtle level. And then as you're ready, take your time and make your way up to a seat as you're ready. And then we'll bring our arms out to the sides with the palms facing up. Inhale the arms out and up, palms touch above your head. As you exhale, lower your hands in front of your heart and Anjali Mudra. the mudra of gratitude, and we'll close our practice with one round of Om tonight. Joining me if you wish, otherwise feel free to listen. Let's all exhale and inhale. And we'll bow down towards our heart with gratitude for the practice, with gratitude for these bodies and all the things we get to do in these bodies, and many merits gained from our practice today. Benefit ourselves and all beings everywhere. Thank you all so much for showing up on a Monday night. Really appreciate it. I know I can't see you, but it's great to have you here. I'll be here Wednesday at, not here on YouTube, I'll be on Zoom doing my gentle yoga and neurogenic tremoring. And then Friday I'll do my yoga and restorative yoga. I had to think about what am I doing on Friday, restorative yoga. And then Sundays I'm doing just gentle yoga, no tremoring, Sundays at noon. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great evening. I hope you go eat some cake or do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself in this situation. All right. Have a beautiful night, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.